St. Paul advises us to be aware that the time is short, and that those who buy and sell should behave as though they owned nothing of this world, and that those who are married should be as though they were free for the Lord. He even goes as far as advising to remain unmarried if they are not married, for it gives greater freedom for the things of the Lord. And that has been perceived also as the bottom line of complete dedication in time and availability, in consecrated celibacy and chastity, that we may not be in any way chained down and completely free to fly. For when the heart is divided, it is not entirely free. And when the mind is divided by many concerns, including those of a personal family, then it is somewhat limited in its availability to others. There is a huge advantage in being alone with the Lord. With regard to the things that clutter our time, they are many. And the Lord, in calling the disciples who were to become the apostles, called them from their nets, and the nets that we have must be left behind. We are not to be pulling things after us. In the life of the church, it was very quickly picked up that this element of total availability was important. We notice that John remained unmarried, and he was the beloved disciple who had access to intimacy with the Sacred Heart itself. There was this inner circle, and that too has been perceived by the Christian centuries as an invitation to be aware of the secret of the contemplative life. Pure, gratuitous praise and love, apartness. And as the Christian centuries went on, it was perceived that this was a mode of life in itself, reproducing Christ in the desert, Christ on the mountain. That there was a part of the mystical body that was called to do on earth what the seraphim do in heaven, gaze and praise and sing to the Holy, 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 who deserves all and has the right over all. And thus it was perceived that this had no need of human justification, for the Creator has his rights, les droits de Dieu, the rights of God, to call out of society and humanity, and to claim his own, just for his own. In this week of intercession for the Church itself, for the healing of division, one thinks of all the souls who have approached the Lord according to the means that they had. A certain humility enters into this week, for we look across our shoulders to our brothers across the globe and across time, and we see that many were very faithful, using well the means that they had. They reached genuine sanctity. That does not mean to say that their state of life in incomplete truth and grace is more saintly in itself. It means that they have been more saintly in the use of what they had. But when we have the fullness of sanctity in the availability of the sacraments and the truth, our responsibility is even greater. The Lord is Lord, and He wants us to know His full truth. And so there is this itch, wherever we are, to know the full truth. But truth is learned precisely in humility. And this strident note of arguing and combating is not of God. We need to learn the humility of the saints, who learn things directly in prayer and from the Holy Spirit. That can happen too when we are calm and gaze into the eyes that made us and loved us. For in the last resort, we are all trying to get there, and so we help each other as far as we can. Let us ask for the grace that the Spirit of God will get through to all His people, all over the world, and teach us humility and respect. On the other side, when we gaze into the eyes that made us, we will see things fully as they are, and no one there, if he is in glory, in the beatific vision, is actually outside the pale, outside the church. Adoremus in aeternum Sanctissimum Sacramentum Laudate Dominum omnes gentes Laudate Deum omnes populi Quoniam confirmata est super nos misericordiae et veritas Domini manet in aeternum. Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto, sic ut erat in principio et nunc et semper, et in saecula saeculorum. Amen. Adoremus in aeternum Sanctissimum